Hello, I will start presentation now. My theme is global warming. I will talk about global warming. What's global warming? First, I will explain the global warming. A part of climate change is a phenomenon in which the average temperature of the surface of the Earth and the ocean rises over time. Recent ones are said to be due to human factors, such as greenhouse gases, and environmental factors such as changes in solar energy. What will happen as global warming progresses? Various environmental problems occur. For example, health problems due to flooding, sea level rise, infrastructure stop due to extreme weather phenomena, death and illness caused by heat waves, food shortage due to temperature rise and drought, water resource shortage and agricultural production decrease, and impacts on terrestrial and marine ecosystems and biodiversity. Also, various solutions are presented for global warming. I will raise 5 solutions that can be realized. The first solution is to reduce emissions of exhaust gas. Reduce emissions of CO2 instead of eco-car. Recently, hybrid cars using electric vehicles and biofuels have been developed, but gasoline cars are cheaper and more productive than gasoline cars, so most people still use gasoline cars. I hope that technologies will advance from now on to make cheap and eco cars, so that everyone can start using eco cars. The easiest thing is to increase the number of plants and increase the oxygen and reduce the carbon dioxide. However, since trees are important resources such as paper, it is very difficult to increase trees, so we should plant high-quality trees with a large amount of carbon dioxide absorption like canaf. You can use natural energy such as wind power and solar energy. The demerit is that power generation efficiency is poor and introduction cost is high. For example, the amount of power generation varies depending on the weather, like wind power generation, and installation fee is also high. It will take 10 years to get out of if by wind power generation. Third solution is to trade emissions credits. There are two merits. First, developing countries can grow their economies by selling emission credits to developed countries. For example, developing countries such as Africa sell to developed countries like America. Secondly, developing countries do not have to brush the development of industries and economies by purchasing emission credits. Economy can put emphasis on products, companies, and sports. The fourth solution is to utilize the energy-saving housing, which is mainly done in the UK. We can build a house that does not emit CO2. Here are two examples. First, we are using insulation and housing air tightness. The air temperature of the upper and lower layers of the room can be equalized by putting insulation between the outer wall and the inner wall. This is cooler in the summer. No air conditioner, warm in winter, and no need to wear stoves too much. It's very cheap and should be used. Second, use solar panels to convert sunlight into electricity. However, it costs a lot for the price, so the number of buildings with this is very small. But if you look at the future with just the first high price, you can save the electricity bills for decades and you will probably get a solar panel. Final solution is to implement a day company without using a car. Recommend not to use the car on a regular basis and use the public transportation on that day. If this is done all over the world, transportation will prosper and we can reduce emission of CO2. Conclusion: mankind should take this problem more seriously. The environment has gradually changed and only small problems have yet arisen, but there is a possibility that a big disaster may involve mankind. Also, there are only a few adverse effects on humanity, but the ecosystem is changing gradually. For example, precious animals such as polar bears and antelope are also decreasing. It is a famous story that polar bears cannot be hunted due to ice loss due to temperature rise and rainfall. However, it is a plant that is more affected. We are weak to changes in the environment and cannot move, so we will die, and herbivorous animals eating that plants will be affected. The number of extinctions in the era when there were dinosaurs is the most frequent. But if you leave this problem as it is, the extinction of living things may surpass the dinosaur times as it is. As shown in the slide figure, it is now one of the factors of endangered species, but there are many threatened species. We should take this situation now more heavily. We need to implement these solutions to prevent future disasters and biological extinction in the future. Thank you for listening.